Means a lot. So I appreciate you guys taking time out of your evening to come and share with us. Yeah, well, it's been a long road to get to here, you know, to where I can be in front of folks and speak and share. And as I was telling Catherine in the back there, so in our culture, this isn't how I was going to start, but I want to say this. So in our culture, there's many tribes, right? In the Americas, hundreds and hundreds of tribes. And the thing is, the powwow world, which we're a part of, in the powwow world, it's all one tribe, and there's different styles. There's northern, southern. But I was telling her, when you hire a southern drum, you don't hire a group. You hire one man, and based on that man's respect by his community and his peers, that's how good of an event you're going to have, because those people are going to come and support them. And Chip has been that man in this area, representing the great Cherokee Nation. And for me to see elders, my elders in here, people who I've watched and learned things from in the rendezvous and powwow communities in the area, it's just, it touches my heart. Because, you know, you're showing me love, and you've come here to share with us, and to, you know, to be a part of this, and to, it just means a lot. And I just wanted to say that. But we'll say OCO, it's a Cherokee greeting. Say OCO, I say Aho Matakoye Oyasin, which is Lakota greeting. And it simply means, greetings all my relations. So we believe there's a creator who created us, and we believe the earth is like our mother. The earth gives you everything you need every day to survive, like a mother. So we believe with that all human beings are some type of kin. You know, we're all related. We're related to the creepy crawlies, to the winged, the four-legged, the two-legged, the gilled, the winged. Everything has a purpose. You know, the trees, everything has a purpose, and we all have to learn to live in harmony with that. And as Native people, we call that the good red road, the road of correct life. And we're just, like I said, we're honored to be here, and we're going to share some stories, some history of the area, some songs, some dances, and let's have a great night. And I appreciate you all for being here.
Well, welcome, of course.
You gotta kind of,
You have to put it right up.
Hello?
get
Hello?
up in there,
Hello?
like I like to anyway.
Hello? No. Anyway, just,
Yeah, they can hear you.
oh, you can hear me?
Speak into it, not over it.
Okay.
Closer.
Closer?
There it is.
you go.
Yep. Boom.
We got it.
Okay. Anyway, I've long been a promoter of Chillicothe. I love this little river town. And I have some dear friends here. And people like Bill Dwyer, who have been my friends for most of my adult life. Kevin Cashmere, the Cashmere family. I'm thinking of people that we've known for decades and decades, and some of my newer friends. So anyway, I love being here in Chillicothe. And we have made Native friends up in this area too that we're going to tell you about. You may not know all these stories. We are not historians or archaeologists, but we are interested and curious people, so we've learned a lot on our journey, listened to a lot of people's stories and knowledge, so we're going to share what we can. but we are a living culture. Chips and Jan have spent their lives sustaining this culture. My parents, the same, our families, this is what we do, try to educate people about our culture and to embrace their ancestors as well, who all of us had ancestors who loved this earth and cared for it properly. Sure.
Want to say anything?
Hmm?
You want to say anything?
No.
Jan?
Want to sing a song?
Sure, I'll sing it.
We'll do that. We'll do that Oto one.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna start off, just warm it up with a song. So this song comes from the Oto tribe. And one of the reasons for picking this song is there's a word in this song that you will recognize, Wakanda, Camp Wakanda. So in Ponca, Wakanda is God.
Zion.
It is the creator. So
Camp God.
So this song, what this song is, it says, today is your day. It's your day. And it's your day. And it's Bill's day. And it's my day. And it's everyone's day. It was created, the Creator created it for us to enjoy, to sing and dance and have a good time. So we're going to sing that one for you real quick here. Yeah, speaking of the moon, it is the red beaver moon. I don't know if you all know that, but we were talking about that earlier. So I believe one of the ladies in here was talking about she couldn't sleep because the bright light was in there. And I was like, that's by design. This is the time of year when you would need that light, and you would need to be getting your things in order for the winter. You know, when you lived rough like that, you had to know. And they called it the Beaver Moon. They said it was one of the easiest times for the trappers and the native peoples to get go hunt beaver, because they were out busy making their winter lodges, and they were easy to find just about any time of the day or night working. And speaking of the beaver, so we all know the beaver's like the willow tree, right? But there's something specifically about the willow tree that is a medicine. The inner bark of a red willow tree is like aspirin. It's a painkiller. And the beavers, they chew on that. And I should know more scientific terms for this, but there's a part of their insides in which they're digesting this, and it creates this pain-killing medicine. And the native peoples used to take that and keep it in its original container from the beaver, and they would actually use that for medicine. But that's you know, knowing these plants, you know, as we were talking earlier, we all need to know like our cultural roots, because no matter what culture you are, it doesn't have to be native. There are people in your ancestry who lived for thousands of years without Amazon, Walmart, you know, all these things, you know. How did they do it, right? These are the instructions on how to live all over the world. And these people are dying off, and the young people are not getting this information and keeping these things alive. So in our native communities, it's so important that we get our youth involved. And it is very tough, believe me. You know, my mom taught in New Mexico at the Pueblos, an Indian school. And the Pueblo that we used to visit a lot, they can only turn their water on for 2 hours a day. I mean, this today, 2 hours a day, and 15 people living in a 2-bedroom apartment. I mean, they were filling up buckets of water, and we were like, what are you doing? They're like, well, we're going to have to wash dishes for supper. I'm going to have to flush the toilet for 10 people. You know, people are going to take baths, showers. So they were doing this. And then as you're leaving this place, you get back on the highway, and there's another native community on the other side of the highway. They have a casino, no tax tobacco shop, and they have a golf course. And in the middle of the day, the sprinklers are just set in the water. This is in the high desert. This water is evaporating before it even hits that grass. And they're just spraying it like it's nothing. And their children have PlayStations and wear Air Jordans, and they have a Range Rover or a nice vehicle. And these people over here, you know, there's 5 families sharing a car, you know. And so you're telling these kids, hey, you need to learn your culture, be traditional. And they're like, no, I want that. I want that. So that's what we're fighting here, you know. And I know a lot of you folks can relate. You have children, grandchildren, and you're just trying to get them to retain anything. How to do handiwork around the house, how to do their own yard work, how to change their own oil in their car, things like this. And they just, it's not happening, and we're losing all of this knowledge and these ways. But I'm getting off on a thing here, but as I do. But no matter what culture you are, if you live here, if you live on this continent, any of the Americas, then native culture should be important to you, because that knowledge helped people survive for thousands of years in these areas. What was so special about that river or that lake or these forests behind us? What's in there? What's growing in there? What were they eating? What were they using for medicine? What were they using for shelter? These things, as we see in our today's world, these things are becoming more and more important. So that's just something we really are striving to get our youth and anyone who will listen. You know, anyone who will listen. And our elders tell us this culture, these ways are for everyone. This is not a native thing.
This is a human survival thing. So that's where we come from with it. And I don't know. Mama, do you want to tell them a little history? Give a little history
Okay.
lesson, or I can talk about something. But I just talked about it.
Well, I'll let him tell. How many of you have ever been to Tuscola up the road here? Yeah. I'm going to let Jimmy tell you about some of the things that we triggered us years ago. I got an invitation to come up there and speak to the Historical Society a long time ago. And we went up there a few times, and then we had some little powwows up there during the rodeo days. And all of us went and we had little dances and stuff. But anyway, we learned some special things about this place. And I'll let him talk about that. And Bill here, he knows when the rendezvousers decided to kind of retire from their major activities, then you guys, didn't you fund the plaque for Gomo in the park?
Yeah.
Yes, so they were responsible for getting that plaque for Gomo in the park. So who was he? So he was a Potawatomi chief. Now you've all heard of Black Partridge. These were men who were trying to keep peace between them and the onslaught of people coming from Europe. And they thought that somehow that we could live together. They were mistaken. And there was a man named, well, it just left me. I want to say idiot, but that wasn't his name. It was something like Edwards, Ninian. He was a Ninian Edwards, and he was the governor of Illinois when it was a territory. He was the only governor during that territorial time before, I guess it was 1818 that Illinois became a state. And they thought they were negotiating with him, but he was a liar, a bold-faced liar. He had been appointed by President Madison for that position. And of course, the way I've understood the story, and we were talking earlier, that there's a lot of stories, and when you're reading scholarly manuscripts, they will say, it is said, or it is supposed, or reportedly. So a lot of the stories, they're not conclusive about just what went on. But we know that there was a fort up north, and under Lincoln, they had asked Black Partridge to come and help them. Carson. Anyway, and he tried to assist. They were being attacked by other tribe. And while he was gone, under Lincoln, they sent in troops and destroyed their village up, you know, like you're going up towards Lakin there's a plaque. And slaughtered his family and everything when he was trying to be of assistance to the people, European people. But anyway, well, he came up here in this area and tried to enlist a Gomo and and other Potawatomi tribes and other tribes to come with him and kind of just pull together to try to resist. And of course, at that point, Gomo was like, oh no, I think we can work this out. Well, it was the next to go. And when the people were all ran off, and then under this Edwards guy, they went in and completely destroyed and burnt down the village. But if you go up there, they know a lot about what was going on there. There was also a Chief Comas. You may have heard of him. He was also a Potawatomi chief in this area. There were 13 tribes that are part of the Illinois Confederacy. Some of those tribes don't exist. They died off with disease. But there are still 5 major tribes that became under the Illinois Confederacy. And of course, then they were pushed over, most of them, into Oklahoma. Michiganian, some of those names that sound familiar. But Kaskaskia, Peoria, Kickapoo, Miami. Yeah, but I've got a whole list in my bag if anybody wants to know the list. So they were remnants of tribes, and not of all of those remnants were people that had lived here for a long period of time. But the Peoria people are purportedly connected to the Cahokia, the great city of Cahokia, which was the largest city in the world 1,000 years ago. And we know now that people from South America and Mexico made the trip here to Cahokia, and that people from here went to their beautiful cities that were in Mexico and South America. This was a very sophisticated network of interchange. So the Peoria Indians just today, now they just elected they elected a female chief as their new chief. And one of their secondary chiefs is a young man, Pepperford, who is at Dixon Mounds. He's an assistant director now at Dixon Mounds. He's a Peoria Indian. So we know a little bit about, and I'll let Jimmy tell you too about our connection with the Sign family who were here. Those are a couple stories I'll let him tell. Yeah. And I want you Chip is our drum chief, and Jan is makes us look good. I did a lot of our outfit there.
That's my ribbon work.
The satin applique work, she's done that for us. We have a dance troupe we perform at summer camp for many, many years. And we keep a permaculture garden there and so forth. Anyway, why don't you tell them about those two stories, about Tiscowa and about Starved Rock.
Hey, put me on the spot. But no, Tiscowa. So I don't know what many of you've heard, but the trouble with this area is there's many stories, but not a lot of facts. So we kind of have to just, use common sense here and there and talk to folks. And I'm sure some of you folks in here have heard some stories down the family line, especially if you live on or farm the areas around here. I'm sure some things were found, and Mossville Caterpillar, when they first were building that, from my understanding, they wanted the plant to be closer to the road. But in order to do that, they would have had to see what was in those mounds that we drive by all the time. And when the proper people who were in charge of that type of thing approached them and said, if you want to build here, they said, no, it's natural landscape. So that's why we have the natural landscape. So the mountain builders were here, and every time you drive by that, there's proof. As I said, there's no factual proof because no one's been able to dig there and to look for things. But with Tiscowa, there's a lot going on there. So you may have heard the term Chief Tiscowa. So Chief Tiscowa is not necessarily a person. It is in some stories, and it's just their newspaper. Their newspaper was called Chief Tiscowa from the early 1800s to say 1850s, 51 maybe, somewhere in there. So Tiscowa was also known as Council Town because a chief lived there and they had many councils there. It was also known as Indian Town. Indian, if you're from the area, there's a road, Indian Town Road, that goes straight to Tiscowa. But that was a huge Potawatomi village, and I believe the Kickapoo were in the area as well. And if you go to the back of Tiscowa where the hills are, there are big caves where they kept their grain. For when it flooded, their food would be safe. There's lots of evidence there. And Tiscowa actually has a connection with Starved Rock. So there's many stories, as I said, but I heard, the one story is an Illinois tribal member, a man, killed Chief Pontiac. And the Ottawa people and the Potawatomi people from Tiscowa went, and they're the ones who starved the folks at Starved Rock and attacked them. So that's one of the stories. But as I said, there's no real physical evidence that anyone was ever held up on that rock
that anyone ever starved on that rock. And a lot of places, when the train started coming in, so this is kind of way off base, but Devil's Lake in Wisconsin, you know, it used to be called like Spirit Lake. But when the railroad started coming through there and they built the hotel, nobody was coming. But as soon as they named it Devil's Lake, people out east were getting that money out quick to take that train ride. And then when the car was invented, that kind of killed the tourism there. But there's many places in America that are named Devil's Tower, you know, all these places where natives habitated. This is not what those places were called. They were, you know, they were holy places. They were held in very high regard. So that's, you know, that's pretty interesting as well. As my mom said, our connection with the Sign family. So some of you here may know who they are. The Sign family are Ho-Chunk. They were the last family to homestead at Starved Rock. When you go into Starved Rock, into the lodge, their headdresses are in the glass case there. Their pictures, when you come out of the restroom, Sam Sign and Ruth Sign, walks with the wind and walks on a cloud. So their children, you know, I'm fortunate enough to be in contact with their children. And their son, Hana, was one of our elders, and he taught us so much. And those people, they had the cabin behind the visitor center was a gift shop, and they sold Native American things. And Hana's dad actually had an archery range behind there as well, and they would entertain the tourists and everything. Actually, my beadwork, I got this from Hana's son, who's a world champion dancer. So
Wow.
the connections, you know, the connections are there, and just to have someone like that as a mentor and a family like that we could, you know, bounce things off of and learn from, and has been just a blessing, you know. And
Blessed our first drum.
what now?
He blessed our first drum.
Oh yeah, he blessed Eagle Ridge's first drum. I mean, he did a ceremony and mentored Hana. I'm speaking of mentored me with my personal peace pipe that I use. He mentored me as an MC. We had the Return to Pimatui powwow, which Pimatui was what this Peoria was called. Lakes of Abundance is what it translated to. And we had a powwow at Summer Park with the Park District for 20 years running. Our family, the Sign family, Chip and his family were there, and many of our friends, Bill was there. We had a rendezvous. We had great times, and the Ho-Chunk folks and the folks from Wisconsin and Oklahoma would come up. The Peoria tribe would come up.
The Kashmirs would cook
And
for us.
the Kashmirs, yes, for sure. And just, yeah, that's just some of the history of the area that has come to where we are, you know. I don't know.
Marker tree.
Oh, yeah.
Tell them about the marker
The
tree.
marker trees. So you may know of the marker trees, you may not. So these trees, they marked, you know, fresh water, good places to hunt, different things that they wanted people to know. And the natives made these. It took decades, even hundreds of years sometimes, to make them with ropes, and they would tie the branches. And there was one near Tiscoa at Lake Thunderbird. And there is where it used to be. The stump is still there, I believe, and there is a plaque that says it. But these trees would be, you know, on the bluffs of the river and things. And so when they would give these maps to the rendezvousers and to the settlers coming in the area that they were friends with, it would show them, if they were, you know, on a journey on the river, it would show them where they could stop and camp. And there would be game there. There would be fresh water there. You know, things that people would need along the way. it's a very fascinating thing. I encourage you to look up the marker trees and to learn about that. So that's another cool thing that's in this area. There's lots of them up in the Starved Rock area as well. As you can imagine, there's 4 rivers that converge there and all those canyons. So they wanted to go right where those were. And so that's another thing. So as far as how we got us here today, and some of our friends in the audience too, I want to include them because they are very big parts of our community here. So we started meeting as a Native fellowship in the basement of a United Methodist Church on Sunday evenings. The community started a gathering where we could come in and share ideas and learn things and help keep the culture alive. And we all would go and we did our thing. And Kevin Cashmere here and Gary, his brother, they started coming, and they knew about this. They knew about the drum. The drum is the heartbeat of our people, and most tribal people use drums. And if you talk to the elders in any of the tribes, they'll tell you, when you stop hearing this, the earth is no more. It's the earth's heartbeat. It is all of our heartbeat. And if you think about it, you're like, wow, that sounds pretty far out. But if you think about it, who are the first people to fight for the environment, for the Mother Earth, for the plants, the animals, our clean water? It's the Native and tribal people all over the world, because they know the importance of it. So when those folks' culture is gone and they quit playing these drums and resuscitating the earth, we're all in trouble, or we're living in a bubble. I mean, where else are you going to go when we run out of clean water? And we're almost there. But getting back to this, so Kevin and Gary have brought us some knowledge, and we had a bunch of men in the group, and we wanted to learn this. We wanted to sing. And there's many different paths with the drum. There's ceremonial drum. There's church hymns that are written in different languages that, people sing on the drums. There's Southern style, Northern style. Every tribe has their own, own things. And, the elders of our group said, we need a drum. And, and who has knowledge? And Gary and his brother stepped up, and Chip and us, we had a little knowledge of powwows, and from watching the Peoria tribe, the Ho-Chunk, the Sign family, these people that we've been talking about, they came for 20 years and showed us and how it's done, and we got to interact with them, and we got to ask them questions, and so it was amazing. So I have a cousin who was a captain in the Air Guard, and he passed away. And my mom's sister received a bunch of financial gifts from people in the military, from his friends, and she has a pretty good job. She didn't really need the money, and she said, we need a drum for our community. And her and some of the elders sought out. They went to Miami, Oklahoma, which they call it Miami down there, but that's where the Miami tribe and the Peoria tribe reside. And they went to the tribe and said, this is what we want. We want a drum for our community, but we want authenticity. We want a drum maker, a medicine person to make us a drum. Well, they found a man down there, and he to make a very long story, after several visits, after several, this medicine person, this drum maker, he wanted to know everything about us, our family, my cousin. So his native name was Standing Warrior. So this guy actually did a lot to work with my cousin on a spiritual journey, praying, and he created this drum, which we refer to as the red drum in our community. A lot of the drum groups in this area and people who know anything about this is one of the instruments that they all started on. Gary and Kevin, who is here tonight, they shared songs they knew. I believe Micmac songs, yes sir. And they taught us the first songs that we learned on here. And as I said, some of us, Chip and his boys and me and my brothers, we caught that powwow bug. We wanted to be at the show, We wanted to do that. So some of us branched off and did different things, and that's how Eagle Ridge was formed. We wanted to be a powwow performing drum, and it was a long road. And we happened to be singing in Jacksonville, and we were singing one of these old polka songs, and we only knew 4 songs. And this native elder walked by us, and he kind of looked, kept walking, and he came over, and he said, "What are you boys doing?" What are you doing? It was Chip, I think, it was our elder at the time, when we were all pretty young, and his boys, and he said, "How'd you learn that polka song?" And he's "I can sit with you guys," and and he's like, "Sing another one, sing another one." We're like, "No, that's all we got." And he goes, "Well, do you want more?" And the rest is history. I mean, this guy took us on a journey. We had little tape recorders, and we would travel with people in the summer and record them, and all winter we'd sit there and learn those songs, and we'd show up next summer. "Hey, we know that, we're ready." And if you did good, they said, "Here's some more." So we must have did all right, because we probably got 100 or so songs or more given to us. And he's just taken us places that we would have never been invited or able to walk in, So it's been an amazing journey, and what a way to honor a veteran, a person, a relative. So every time I'm around this drum, I get emotional,
How
It's
about
like
telling about our debut at the Circuit Breaker School?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was one of the first performances, I think, at the Circuit Breaker
School in Seneca.
School in Seneca. Yep, Eric Martin was there, I believe, was a student there.
I was trying to think of his name the other day.
Yeah, it was it was a place for troubled youth and stuff, and we went in there, and they that's when we really knew. I think that's when I really was like, you got these troubled youth, these young people, and they're looking up to you. And they're wanting to know about their own culture, and it's just like I said, it's been an amazing journey to share, and just the folks we've met. Eagle Ridge, we were invited through this fellow Tim. We were invited to Tahlequah, Oklahoma, to the Cherokee homecoming, and I know it's dear to Chip's heart, and the people down there wrote a song for Chip and Eagle Ridge in their language, and gave it to us. Like, this is your song now. And we usually start Eagle Ridge performances with it, and it just simply says, "Eagle Ridge is coming, Eagle Ridge is here." And that's an endorsement. It's pretty amazing, for just some ragtag group that just said, "Hey, we want to do that," and here we are, and we're sharing, and it's just a beautiful thing.
Got invited to sing at Taos Pueblo powwow.
Yeah. That's a whole. Yeah, we've got lots of stories, but my mom was house sitting in Santa Fe, New Mexico. No cell phones, no internet. When people need to get a hold of us, they call my mom's mother's house. I could visit my grandma, and she'd have messages. So-and-so called for you, or whatever. So this elder, Tim Taye, who took us under his wing, he called my grandmother's house looking for me. And she told him we were house sitting, gave him the number. So the phone, I think Mom answered, and she said, "The phone's for you." And I'm like, "At your friend's house in Santa Fe?" It's kind of random. And he's 3 hours up the mountain in Taos. And he's like, "Hey, I heard you were in New Mexico." I'm like, "Yeah, here with, my son and my mom, we're house sitting." And he's like, "Well, we got a pretty big powwow up here at Taos, top of the mountain." And I mean, I'm talking thousands of teepees, 10,000 dancers, 33 drums. It was like the biggest thing I ever saw. It was unbelievable. And Tim had taught us the gourd dance, which is a dance for the veterans, and there's a whole series of songs, and there's handfuls of people in the world who even know these songs. And he spent many years teaching us those songs, and he knew that we knew them. He made sure we knew them before he took us anywhere. And he called me, he said, "I need you." He said, he just had talked his way into bringing the gourd dance to the Taos people. They didn't do that. It wasn't something that they did. And so we drove up the mountain and we sang the gourd dance there. And like I said, it was amazing, and we had a great time. We're like, "Hey, thank you. We're gonna head back." "No, you can't leave. We're singing again tomorrow. This thing's all weekend." And we're like, "We don't have any camping gear, nothing." He told Mother, he's like, "Well, they'll make room for you in the ladies' teepee over there." He went and removed a family from a giant teepee for me and my son to sleep in. It was just me and my son, and the teepee was probably a quarter the size of this room. And there was nothing in there but one buffalo robe. And we're at 11,000 feet elevation. It's going to get cold. And there's a herd of buffalo right over there, and and he's like, "There you go." So we rolled up in that thing and slept. And Mom,
I got up in the morning to go watch the sun come up there in Taos, and I went over and I was laying in that grass and looking up, and a vehicle went by, and they thought they'd found a body. They were so glad I was alive. So was I. That was fun.
Yeah. And the point of these last stories is just like for Chip, the Cherokee homecoming, the getting a song in Cherokee, and for me and Mother to go to Taos. I mean, the elders always told us. I mean, Chip, you could attest to this. And Kevin probably the same. I mean, they always told you. They said, if you come here. And this is what we try to tell our youth. If you come to this drum, everything you want will come true. You will be taken care of. If you stay here and stay with it. There's a song we sing that says, this way is hard. It's being kind. How hard is it to be kind to people all the time? I mean, that's a tough thing. That's a warrior to me. If you can be nice to people, if you can be kind, anybody can get mad and throw something. Go, "Screw that, I ain't messing with that." But something that even if you can find a way to be kind to people, that's a gift. That's an art, and this way, saying this way is a hard way, but it's a good way. It's the right way. This red road, correct life, live, as I said at the beginning, living in harmony with everything like that. And it's just, it's true, We've lived it, it's true. And I'm just honored and blessed to be here and to share that with you folks. I would like to get to some dancing. Maybe I'll do a dance for you folks. Does that sound good?
I'd like to add, I listened to archaeologist Taylor. Do you remember his last name, Taylor? Anyway, affiliated with the University of Toronto, but he's in Illinois. and I heard him on Saturday speaking, and he said there are 30, listen to me, 30,000 active archaeological sites in Illinois of native settlements, and the number is going up. They're somebody called me once to come down to a historical society. They said they were talking about how there were hundreds of Indians living in Illinois at one time, in this area. It wasn't Illinois. Yeah, so we're learning that these were and why not live here? People make fun of this state. Don't make fun of this state. This is the heart. This is where all the fish were, where all the game was, where the food was, the
That's
water.
soil.
Yeah.
And as you said that, it just triggered something else for me. So the town of Leroy, Illinois, on the other side of Bloomington. So that's the site of the Grand Kickapoo Village. There was a giant village there. You may remember there was some talk of a hog farm there and things, and where they were going to build it. They found artifacts, and that slowed that. They did have a powwow there. Several, but I can't remember, it was the early 90s, the Kickapoo.
Because a bunch of us came from New Mexico, the native people.
Yeah, in the 90s, so they put out a thing. Any member of the Kickapoo tribe that lives anywhere in the world, they would pay your way to come to this event. And we went to this event, and it was a sight to behold, if we're talking about cities and history. People came from other countries, as you said, many natives from New Mexico, Oklahoma.
5 villages of the Kickapoo, and there was a whole tribe in Mexico, because that border that they talk about didn't exist forever, folks. It's a man-made thing, and the native people here, they're all on this continent, all in the Americas. There's no illegal immigrants, that's a joke. But anyway, they found them in Mexico, and they got a bus and brought them up. And they knew all the old songs. They dressed and lived traditionally. And it was like opening a time capsule for those other Kickapoo tribes. It was like a miracle.
Yeah, for them to all see each other and to exchange information.
Spoke their language.
And yeah, so that was a major thing in our area that happened. The feast was phenomenal.
They fed 4,000 people wild game and
4,000
local
people.
Fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, it was.
The farmers all came out.
There was everything you could ever imagine. Yeah. There was elk, buffalo, turkey. You name it, pheasant. You name it. It was there. Vegetables as well. So it was. It was a huge event. Dancing. You want to sing, or I can play it?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Well, Chip's up for you. He's gonna sing a song for me. I'm gonna do a grass dance for you.
I'll see if I can get
If
that.
I can still move, I'm sitting there.
So,
If you don't know
Jump back.
the grass dance,
I'd say.
it is believed it came from the Omaha people. But the grass dancers would come out, didn't have John Deere tractors and things, so when the grasses were tall, the grass dancers would come out and flatten the grass and make a safe area for the elders, the children, and families and everyone to come for the upcoming event or ceremony or dance or, usually would be celebrating a good hunt or harvesting a crop, things like that. So my outfit is made to look like the grass blowing in the wind. Some of my actions will be, when I'm clearing the grass, there could be, a big rock. There could be a snake. There could be a fox, a coyote, a wolf, a mountain lion, depending on where you lived.
Grandma watching the sunrise.
Yeah, Grandma. Yeah, I'm laying there for some reason. So some of my actions, you'll see, do that, and I may even encounter an enemy who's laying there who knows that I'm getting ready to have this ceremony, and they could be waiting on me. So
You never know.
This song that I'm gonna sing for him is one, it's the only one that I've ever composed. We live out in Trevoli in the middle of nowhere. This song came, I don't even remember what was going on, the world was screwed up then when I looked outside and I'm looking out over the trees and the fields and I get the deer and stuff. And everything seems so bad in the world if you talk to people. But honestly, when I looked out there that day, it was like, we're still in the Garden of Eden. We're just not smart enough to realize it. Yeah, and everything was just perfect. And this song sort of celebrates that. And we'll see if I can pull this off or not.
About rally, Chip just had a procedure done like a week ago, a major, so pretty
She's
wonderful.
gonna get your water. Chip, she's gonna get your
I've got one in my purse.
Yeah.
That is
Fire water.
Yeah.
Questions?
Even the new heart valve's not gonna keep me down.
Wow.
He just got kind of a release to go back
today.
today.
Today,
Just got released by the doctor
said,
today.
you can do stuff against them.
In the nick of time. Because I'm like, how am I going to sing and dance at the same time?
And play the drum.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it all.
Dance on that.
Anybody have any questions? Yes, or corrections to our historical documentations? Yes, ma'am.
Corrections at all, but thank you very much for this. I took my kids to the mounds by Spring Creek. Do you know where that is? Washington, East Peoria area, there's the mounds there in the park that are accessible to the public, because I think the ones by Caterpillar are private property, you can't go there, right? And I couldn't, I mean, there's a sign, obviously, but I couldn't find anywhere where I could get more information on what has been discovered or studied about that area.
I don't know about that one, but I do know this one here, on this road down here, that there were in the upper teens mounds, and many of them were much larger at one time. One of them is a repatriated burial mound with soil added. I know that.
Yeah,
You know anything about those mounds in East?
as we were saying earlier, the factual evidence is lacking in a lot of this stuff, and you know, a lot of us believe on purpose, because then you're losing ownership of your land and what you can develop and what you can do with your own land. And so a lot of that stuff was hidden, you know. A lot of it was hidden in families. So if you were, say, a man who looked like myself, I don't have to go around telling everybody my ancestry. It's not something I have to do. And that's kind of what we're talking about, living correctly. You know, you might take that road, it's a little harder, but it's a lot gooder. As some of our native elders said back in the day, more gooder. It's more gooder, you know. And a lot of us,
Sounds like a winner.
and you know, where we're at as a society, the majority of the people are not taking the more gooder route, taking the easy way out. You know, people want to complain, this, that, the other, but what are you willing to sacrifice to get what you want, or what you think society needs, or our community needs? You got to think about what you're willing to sacrifice, because you're not getting anything without sacrifice of some kind. You're not getting that crop in the fall if you just sacrifice to do all that work, you know, to get that crop ready. So that's just where we're at, you know.
They say give up Amazon for a day. Well, I never picked it up.
Yeah, I don't use that. So, but I mean, that's something that every person could do, you know. Think of one thing you want to sacrifice to get that thing that you think you should have, or your community should have, or what you know, what are you going to do? You know, can you put your phone down long enough to do it? That's what we're going to be. That's where we're at with our youth. You know, can you put that phone down long enough? You know, I'm so glad I didn't grow up with that. I tell you, I just am, because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be standing here sharing all these songs that are in my head, being Chip No in our head. Unbelievable. I mean, we sing in 10 different languages.
I wouldn't even let her have TV or soda pop.
Yeah, Mama had, in the foyer of the apartment, there was a closet that locked. And there was a TV on a cart. And that cart went in there. And there was a board, you wrote down on the chalkboard what you wanted to watch. There's certain shows, you know, we watched as a family, you know, but.
Or at your friend's house.
Yeah. Sneak off to go see HBO. But you know, that was a reality in our household, you know, and if you weren't doing your schoolwork, you weren't acting right, then, you know, you might as well even write that program on that chalkboard, because it ain't coming, you know. There was a giant table in our living room, a little short round table, full of books and toys, just like at the library. You know, this is how we did it, and I was blessed and fortunate, you know, to grow up like that and to learn things that way.
I want to say about these mounds down here. I was at a meeting one time at Dixon Mounds, and the family that had lived there, had the farm there where those mounds are, down by Wrenchville, across that way. And she was talking about when she was young and they were first building that plant there. And she said the pottery and everything that they found. And she said those big shots, the Caterpillar took it all home. It was not documented or anything like that. So no, that was a big village there.
Is that Dickinson?
Yeah,
Yeah, I worked with her.
did you? Yeah.
Yeah, I heard, I worked with Doris Dickinson, whose family owned that farm. I think she's passed away. She was with the Historical Society in Chillicothe for a long time, I think. And I think she's passed away, you know. Okay. She retired quite a while ago, and so have I. And she told me a lot of stories about how when Caterpillar came in, and she did a lot of fighting to keep the few mounds that are left there intact. But that, they stole all that. This is hearsay that a lot of whoever was building Caterpillar, whether it was Caterpillar executives or people building it, were stealing a lot of the pottery and just kind of like burying some of the bones and stuff like that. So it was pretty sad.
Does anybody know about go ahead.
Oh, now, I was just going to say, I don't know if anybody remembers it or not. Years ago, on the other side of the river, on the way out to
That's what
Germantown.
she was asking about that.
Okay.
That's what she was
It
asking
was
about.
Meyer Mounds that people had that. It was a really interesting place. We went back years later, and the family had closed it all up, and it was not for the public anymore. But that whole bluff is mounds up there.
Where's that at?
This was
You go over McCluggage Bridge, right?
It's on the other side.
Head towards Germantown,
It's
up
a
on that
Washington address,
rise
but it's
up
really
there.
East Peoria area there.
Yeah, like past 10 Mile Creek there.
And there's a petroglyph area. Is anybody aware of that?
A what?
The Marshall site is directly across the river from here.
There's a handful of petroglyphs there, and they're described as ant people, and there's one that is described as a particularly alien figure that is common in petroglyphs everywhere.
Wow.
That's a very elongated head and a specific type of alien. But it's on a granite rock. If you go to the state of Illinois archaeological sites, you can get a map of Illinois of places you can visit. They're not advertised, but they have these places that you can go and see these things that are obvious, that are not digs right now. But that does exist. But of course, they're not going here, go dig here, type of thing.
Did you say, I'm sorry, did you say that recently you were able to go and there's at least part of it that's public?
It's inside of the park, so it's state owned, or, well, I guess it's,
Is it that new-
that one is actually nature preserve, so
That's that
it's,
newer walking
yeah.
trail park there? Yeah, I've been
Yeah,
there.
You have to-
It's a good place to find fossils.
You have to go through that back road to access it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You had a question back
Yeah,
there?
no, but look at how big Starved Rock was on the north side of the river and how big that camp was when Jolie and Marquette came through.
Yeah.
In 1670s.
Thousands, right.
Thousands and thousands. When Father Marquette came back, it had dwindled. And my thinking on that is basically they had to go out and gather firewood, they had to go out and gather food, and eventually they had to go so far that they just picked up and some moved
That's
Closer to the
probably,
resources.
to a better location.
probably what happened at Cahokia, because that took 20,000 trees to build the wall, the wall that they had around it. And it got to be a huge city. And of course, after a while, the water and, like you're saying, the resources. So probably there's no mystery. They just left it to rehab and went somewhere else. And there was also a comparable city across the river from Cahokia that they now know. That area's all developed, but there was a sister city to Cahokia.
You had a question back there?
Okay, I have two questions. First of all, do y'all know what is how how did Chillicothe get its name?
Yeah.
So,
It's an
it-
Indian name.
Chillicothe, Ohio.
yeah, from Chillicothe, Ohio.
Yeah.
I believe it was the Shawnee. But I believe it's a Shawnee word or a tribe that is from Chillicothe, Ohio. And it's their language and everything,
Okay,
from what I understand.
okay,
But it is a native word,
yes.
but just from a tribe that lived in Ohio originally.
Okay,
There were Shawnee here for a while.
Yeah,
My-
five Chillicothe's.
My maternal grandmother, there's Shawnee and her family.
okay. So was this a name that was attached to the area in Native American times, or was this a name that was given to the town by white people?
By settlers.
By settlers?
Yeah, it was like early 1800s, I believe, is when, maybe 1820. I don't have the exact date, but.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You know anything about,
Gomos Camp,
Almost can't.
okay.
do you know anything about Fort Clark? It's down by the Peoria River Station. Do you know anything about that site, the former site of the Fort Clark?
Fort Clark. I
The
don't.
ri-
by
The story I've heard.
Yeah,
the story I've heard is
there was
that-
a French camp and a native camp there, is my understanding.
Right. What I've heard is that, you know, you were talking about Governor Ian Edwards sending troops and wiping out the tribe, the villages of, I think it was of Black Partridge.
Yeah.
And they were out on an excursion, as you were mentioning, and they found out that the camp was destroyed. Their families were killed. They went in retaliation, attacked Fort Clark down by the Peoria River front.
Oh, wow.
And wiped it out.
They walked down the river.
And, yeah. I don't, you've heard anything about that at all? That's the
I've
story
heard that
I've
story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gomos Camp was north of here.
Right.
So I'm thinking like Yankee Lane.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
Now, is-
Well, because it was on the Snatchawan Creek.
Yeah.
And I think Gomo was raised by a French trader.
Trained by a French trader.
Yes.
Peoria,
He and his brother, who was also a
after their
chief.
dad died.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how intertwined the French and the natives were. I mean, this is like kind of way off from our area, but Crazy Horse was probably more French than he was native. At least half French. And this is why when the U.S. military, the cavalry, seen this man leading them, they saw a little of themselves and kind of feared him.
He's said to have curly, light brown hair. And
Yeah, his name was
Shabana.
Curly until he was a teenager. His name was Curly because the other people made fun of him because he had curly, sandy, blondish hair.
And the chief that was in Pekin, Shabana, he was a big, tall, black man and very eloquent.
Yeah, very
He was a native
Very
man,
dark
but
native
he was
man,
very
yeah.
dark.
Shabona Creek. That's where you get your RV.
Yeah.
With the Bigfoot.
Yeah, he's got the Bigfoot running around, right? Were you saying something, Bill?
What?
He said he was up north.
Oh, I think Shabona was up north. He ran right along where I-80 is now. And
Yeah.
he actually had land. And they
Oh, wow.
said when he came in to a village, because he warned a lot of people that Black Hawk was on the warpath. And
Oh,
saved-
yeah, he's kind of like
Yeah,
the
saved a lot
Paul
of lives.
Revere or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
British.
so anytime he went into a town or something like that, they welcomed him.
Yep, I do remember hearing about that. Because he was like the Paul Revere or whatever, right? Yes, yes.
Would you please stand and explain everything about your outfit?
Whoa.
Starting with the two big feathers.
Oh, man.
Mr. Big Feather.
Like what tribe or culture are you representing?
Oh, yeah.
So, a lot of times they have powwow by the colors and symbols and things somebody's wearing. You can tell a lot about them without
without saying words. You know, so if I saw me, so these colors, that's Lakota colors.
Oh.
These are the colors that tribe prefers and uses. And from my understanding of this beadwork, so like this represents the Black Hills. And this is the storm clouds bringing the rain to the crops. You know, so different things. And Jan made my other outfit. So my native name is First Strike of Lightning. So that's why I have the lightning. That's my mom gave me the name, because when I show up, it's like that first strike of lightning, and then there's a bunch of thunder, and then
That's his brother.
it's getting wild. Yeah. But yeah, you can see like on the back, the mountains. You know, that's the Southern Rockies where I learned a lot of things too. You know, as a young man, hiking on my own and you know, learning stuff from some of the tribes my mom was teaching with, and you know, had a spiritual awakening there. You know, one of many. I was blessed to have these awakenings through my life. You know, you get when you're in high school, and not everyone, but you know, you get to a certain age where, you know, hanging out, watching a movie with your parents, eating popcorn on a Saturday night isn't the coolest thing you could be doing, and going to church Sunday morning, you know, may not be that cool anymore, and things like that. You know, we get away from it, and we go test the waters. We get off of that red road, you know, and we find out that road can be a lot harder. So, but yeah, I was luckily, like some things I was telling you, like the basement of that church when we got together, and there were some elders and some people there, and Chip was there, and Kev was there, you know.
She wants you to explain your roads too.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I get going way out there. But this is called a roach. It's porcupine hair, and then the colored hairs, the shorter ones, are from deer tail, and a lot of times they'll weave those onto a rope, pieces of rope, and tie it in there. And then this is called a spreader, metal to hold our eagle feathers. And there are other spreaders that are called rockers, and they have springs, and they'll rock back and forth. The fancy dancers use those. I don't know. Chip
Got you on the spot now.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is just a grass dance outfit. I have a men's traditional. That's what I started with.
Your earring.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's a good one. So these earrings are handmade from the Santo Domingo Pueblo, right outside of New Mexico. Huh?
No, Kewa, Towa. They took back, all those pueblos are taking back their traditional names. They're no longer.
They're not named after the same.
But those were made by my adopted father.
Yeah.
Dada. Yeah, it's a
Tony Bailon made these, and he was an elder, a blind elder, who was the drum keeper of the entire Santo Domingo tribe. And we would go visit them, and that's where these earrings come from. Just part of the journey. So our outfits, our regalias, you know, there'll be things this person gave you, that person gave you, you know.
So Chip is one of the primary beaters for dancers here. He
Chip
did
does those
these,
beaded
happened to do these
bracelets
bracelets, but he's our primary local beater.
Our family dresses people and accessorizes.
It's way off base. But Tony Bailon, you know, he was the drum guy for the whole Santo Domingo Pueblo, and this is when I was learning, and I had my little tape recorder, and every time I seen an elder, and I said, "Hey Tony, hey man, let's, you want to share some songs and do some singing?" And he said, "Jimmy, no." He's like, "Powwow song?" Yeah. I said, "But you're not Santo Domingo. Can't teach you."
I remember that day because we walked, he was keeping the corn. And out there, the corn, you keep it just like a child. They hand build the mounds and you hand irrigate. And every corn plant is a child. And that's ancient corn from the seeds saved for 800 years at least. And Jimmy walked out there with the drumstick he made him. We were out
Oh, yeah,
there
I
in
made
that
him a
field.
drumstick.
Remember that day? He was irrigating.
And gifted it to him, thought, you know, hey, get this to him, maybe get some songs. I was wrong.
Most closed society.
So with your outfit, does anybody else dress like you, or are you all unique to yourself?
Well, so if I went to a big powwow, there would be, 100 grass dancers, 100 this dancer, 100, but the colors, the symbols and stuff would be different, would be, to the person's.
So you call that your headdress?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, it's this is actually called a roach.
Okay. But
I don't know why.
That
Shawnee word.
identifies you, but does somebody else have one similar to that, or does
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
have
Oh, yeah,
an
definitely.
individual?
Oh, definitely, yeah. But there'll be different ones. You've probably seen the dog soldier headdresses. It's almost like a helmet, just covered in.
You used to wear a bustle when you were a different style of dance.
Yeah, the men's traditional. They're the ones that have all the feathers on their back. That's a one bustle. Then a fancy dancer will have two. They'll have one up top, one at the bottom, double bustles. There's straight dancers. There's tons of categories. Jingle dress. So the jingle dress, many of you have probably seen with the metal cones, and they go shh, 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 shh. So actually, that's a really cool story. So when the settlers, not settlers, with the military, the cavalry started building forts, the natives would hang out outside, and trade with soldiers, things like that. So the soldiers would have snuff cans and tobacco, and they peel those lids and they curled, and they just throw them on the ground. Well, the native women saw these things, very resourceful, and would fill their skirt or their shirt or whatever with it, or a bag, and that's where the first jingle dress was made of those.
So about that, what are all your Native American names?
Well, not everyone gets one.
Okay,
And some people hold them private for ceremony.
okay, that's fine,
Private, but if anyone wants to share,
that's fine.
you're good.
And sometimes you get different ones, like you might have one when you're a child and you're given a different one when you're older.
So that's another thing about the culture. You can make your own relatives, and your name can change. So I have many brothers and uncles and aunties who, in ceremony or otherwise, they were made my relative. And going back, so I'm a crazy horse person. Like, when I was younger, anything I could read about, I fell in love with it. It's my thing. So this is a perfect example. So Crazy Horse was like number 5 Crazy Horse. His dad was Crazy Horse. His dad's dad was Crazy Horse. His dad's dad was Crazy Horse. So when Crazy Horse's father became I'd say between 35 and 40, back then that was a lifespan. You were lucky to see 40 years old. And he gained a few pounds and was a little slower, and he was a shirt wearer. So the shirt wearers, they were the protectors of the tribe. And they're the ones that had the buckskin shirts, with the beaded and the quill work that you see in the movies. So they were kind of like your Marines. They were your front line. They ate last. If they went out on a hunt and brought food back and everyone ate and there wasn't enough for them, then they had to go find some more food. Just took care of the elders, took care of everyone. Lots of people.
Crazy Horse.
So Crazy Horse's dad, he said when he got to where he was feeling slow, he said, my son has been going on raids with Red Cloud. He has been showing his worth in battle and on raids, and he's doing good things there. So he took his shirt and gave it. He said, so he is now taking my place as a shirt wearer. He will now be known as Crazy Horse, as I was and my father before me. And I will now be known as Worm, an insignificant being. As I will stay back at the camp and prepare food and tend to fires and, you know, and so he passed that name on, you know. So that's, anybody else? Yeah.
Do the songs that you sing and play, do they have verses or do they last a certain length of time? Or do they
Sure.
Can they just go
So
on?
like when you sing a song one time through, it's called a push-up. One time through. So there's a lead line, you know, like the lead singer will solo the lead line, then everyone. Okay, Bill. Thanks for coming, Bill.
There's my phone number.
Honored to have you here tonight, sir.
Absolutely. Good to see
He's
you,
been
love. Absolutely. Give my love.
Integral part of my journey for sure.
Bless you. I will. I'll give you a call.
But if Justin's done.
A wealth of knowledge right there for sure. Hey, good to see you, sir.
There's a man with a 20
So there's the lead line. It's like call and response, you know, and then everyone will come in with the second line. Thank you, folks. And it'll come in with a second.
3
Then
minutes.
there's a first chorus. Then there's the hard beats, which are the honor beats in the middle. Then a second chorus. Then rinse and repeat. And most songs are usually 4 push-ups to 6. Like intertribals for dancing are 4 to 6. And there are some special songs like prayers and memorial songs that will only be 2 push-ups. But yeah, and some songs have words, some do not. Some songs have both. You can sing them with or without the words, depending on who you're singing with and what you're singing them for. So then what about the rest of the song, right? So those are called vocables. Like, for lack of better comparison, we always use the fa la 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 la. What does fa la 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 mean? Nothing, but it sounds so great right where it is. But that's kind of how that goes. Like our song I was talking about, that Eagle Ridge, the song they made for us. It has Cherokee words, but we rarely would ever sing it with those words in it. You know.
And that's a wrap, folks.
Yeah, we're about on time, but so when all these tribes were pushed together, even if they were the same tribe, they may have spoken a different dialect and everything. So these songs were the same harmonies of these great old songs, but they just are sounds, so everyone could participate and keep it alive. Because at one point in this country, it was illegal to dance in regalia if you were under the age of 50 years old. You were arrested.
Really?
Because they were trying to wipe out the culture.
We got freedom of religion in 76.
76 Freedom of Religion Act, which many of our European countries, you know, the Netherlands and all those were very instrumental in getting that. Did you have something else?
Well, I was going to ask for a year.
Oh, okay. Great. Yeah. Is that anybody want last one?
I actually wanted to ask earlier, someone mentioned Chillicothe and how it got its name, but with Peoria, is it kind of the same way? Did the settlers give it that name, or was it the tribe?
Yeah, Peoria is
tribe?
off of the name of Peoria. And that's a tribe. They lost their designation in 56 and it was restored in, I think, around 76. Their federal designation as a tribe. So they had to fight for that. But it is a native. It wouldn't be pronounced exactly like that, but yeah.
Yeah. Everybody good? Thank you so much for having us. I hope everyone got a little something out of this and enjoyed their evening. And yeah. What an honor to have these elders here in the audience and up here with me. That's what it's all about, folks. And it's just an honor. Thanks.